It is interesting to think how during this time of COVID 19 we'll be remembered when we're past this. It has taken so much away from us our lives, people's lives, the way we can interact. The isolation has taken connection time with people we may never ever see again. But what it's also given us is a new way to think about how we go about our lives. So during the COVID 19 crisis, I've gotten to witness the humanity of people. People that are stepping up to being kind, to really reimagining everybody doing good intent and supporting one another. And I really got to learn what it meant, what inspiration really meant. Having cerebral palsy, being in a wheelchair, leading a professional career and life, people would always go to me and say, "You really inspire me. This is so inspiring." I never truly understood what was so inspiring as I was just trying to have my life like everybody else did. But what I've gotten to realize is seeing how healthcare workers came to the front, how how bank tellers came in every day so people could do their banking, and even seeing grocery store clerks going in, and many other roles that they were doing their everyday normal work, but it was under extraordinary circumstances. So now when I see people see me to do this, they probably see the same kind of inspiration of approaching things in their most difficult times. For those people, I truly thank you. It has caused us to really go into our business continuity plans, to really find ways to doing work which we used to do all in an office co-located. It's forced us that for those people that haven't been a remote worker before, for all of us to become remote. We've learned new tools like cloud tools. We've learned how to communicate more effectively on video conferencing, and we've been able to learn and adjust as we're all remote. And as we're learning this, and we're starting to get on the other side of this, now it's time to go, how do we re-enter the workforce to make sure it's safe? Because now we're balancing not only business and economics, but people's health and safety. And for so many years, the growing trend in offices to support an agile environment has been having open space where people can be close together and collaborate. Even as the world changes, we're going to have physical distancing requirements that's going to make us relook at our floor plans. It's going to make us relook at how we even can all fit in meeting rooms and maintain physical distancing. It's going to really make us reshape the way we work going forward. We could look at it and think of it as a tax or some kind of anxiety of dealing with this change. But we've already proven that we can be resilient to change as we entered this. Now it's the opportunity to look forward and see, how do we reinvent the way we work beyond reentry? How do we maybe come up with a hybrid model and reduce our floor plans and learn how to work better when we have some people in the office co-located that we minimally need? And then how do we operate remotely to have that same kind of effective collaboration and communication? When I first started the Agile journey 9 years ago, we're like, no, everything has to be co-located to be agile and work effectively. And during that time of the Agile Manifesto, let's look back. Our best way of remote working or remote collaboration was simply a conference call, which is just slightly better than email, but not great for a high fidelity level of communication. Fast forward to 2020, we have really good video conferencing where we can see people, where we can interact people, where we can use cloud tools. Now the real challenge is going to be, how do we come up with those norms to work better when we're remotely? How do we balance the times in meetings, because we need more meetings, with the balance of heads down work to get work done? And, I've seen things and tried things that work well, like team working agreements, which hours we're going to block off for lunch and heads down, which day we'll reserve for non-meetings or 2 days for non-meetings, and how we're going to organize and operate. And I recommend when we move to a hybrid model, we keep those going. We might have to look at running every meeting virtually, because to support physical distancing, our meeting rooms right now can't accommodate that. And if you can only have two and not four or six, you're not really collaborating, you're just communicating. So now we got to relook at shifting from a workplace to moving to a workspace and how we're going to interact and operate. How do we maintain that kind of culture? How do we maintain that same kind of connection and building that connectivity with every employee? We always know we should have regular meetings with our employees. It needs to be more frequently when you're remote. And you really need to make sure you really connect with them and move things. Another great thing this crisis taught us, the power of focus. When we're running in normal times, we try to make sure we're all busy building things and making incremental movements forwards on initiatives. During the crisis, when we got to see things that were high priority, I got to witness high focus and the ability of getting things out and the power of iteration. I've gotten to see leaders and managers that used to be very hands-on and kind of maybe even leading like before agile times, forced to lead and empower people around them because of the asynchronous communication world that we're living in. It really allowed them to really give autonomy to the teams below, push decision making down, not because simply it was a great practice, but it was the only effective way to operate when we couldn't all be co-located. So when we think of everything that COVID has taken away, and that's sad, and we're never going to forget it, and it's really taken its toll on me even. But I choose to think about what it's given us. It's given us the opportunity to rethink the way we work, the way we interact, the way we operate. It's going to allow us to look at our business model to see how are we building ourselves to a digital first organization. But more importantly, I think it's going to help us rethink the operating model, how we operate, how we come up with new guidelines and rules. And leadership style. We're forced to change our style. We got to be more people managers than we've ever had to by connecting with those people, communicating the vision, doing frequent communication, making the implicit explicit by which days are we going to be all heads down maybe, which days are we going to have meetings, just so we can make what usually struggles with trying to guess how we should operate, to explicitly state how each team and everybody wants to operate. This is all great. This is opportunity for change. And like I always like to do, I want to leave you with three things. One, reflect back on this time and think about the way you work differently and what you want to carry forward as we move into this new beginning. What things worked well that we should carry forward? Two, how do we need to change our leadership style to think about how we want to operate and work? How do we want to make sure we're moving from leading initiatives to truly leading people and letting teams lead those initiatives? And thirdly, let's try to remember the way we thought of everybody with their best intent, the way we were very understanding and patient with people as they were going through this. Three, write those things down and keep them front of mind, because these are things we should do all the time. So I want to say what I always say, lead how you'd like to be led. Thank you.